What's up guys, how's it going? In this week's episode, what we're going to do is look at some of the ways in which you can effectively change your thoughts and some of the ways that you need to avoid. You can imagine that millions of years ago, we didn't have thoughts, we didn't have this prefrontal cortex, and so what our behavior was based on is our feelings and emotion. So much like a dog, when you're hungry you eat, when you're tired you sleep, when you feel threatened you growl, and when you feel playful then you play with your other dog friends. And thus our thoughts are the main reason that we behave in any certain way. So to understand this better, we need to understand that most of our emotions are generated from our thoughts. These emotions are what creates our behavior, and our behavior is then what defines the quality of our life. The problem with thoughts is that they're very, very sneaky, and that often that they can blame the external things for our problems and give away our power, making us victims to the situation around us. What we need to understand is that we are responsible for our thoughts, and we can change them, we can do something about them in order to improve the quality of our life. And you can understand this by thinking about a situation in which you get really upset, where you feel like it's unjust or you feel like it's a problem. And how do we know it's us and not the situation that we're blaming? Think about a person that's perhaps a bit more centered than you are, or someone that you idolize for being kind and compassionate and aligned with themselves. What is the difference between them and you in that situation? If they were in your same situation, how would they respond? And they might respond in a way that's a little bit more calm and present and stable. So now you ask yourself, well, what's the difference between me and them? Here's a little secret. It's the content of your thoughts. Often we want the world to change for us, when actually it's ourselves that needs to change. So the first thing that I'm going to invite you to do is write down the situations that aggravate you, that upset you, that make you frustrated or angry or sad, and then write down all the ways and be really, really honest with yourself in which you blame something external. Maybe you blame your partner, maybe you blame your friend, maybe you blame your boss, just anything that isn't you. And these are the ways in which you give away your power. You say, I have nothing to do with this, I'm a victim to my circumstances. What you'll probably find as well is that some of the beliefs that you have or the thoughts that you have around these situations, they feel so true. You know that this person is being a complete irrational dickhead. Even though they feel so true, it's these thoughts that are causing you the problem. It's this way that you're looking at it that is causing those feelings that you have about the situation. The reason why we blame external things is because we're protecting a bit inside of us that's either fearful or hurt. So now what we're going to do is remove all of this, and I want you to write down the situation just as it happens objectively. This is a really hard thing to do. Remove all the opinions, all the judgments, all the blame from the story, and just write the bare facts that everybody can agree on. And this allows us to stop playing the game of who's right and who's wrong, and actually look at what's helpful for me, what's useful for me to believe. And you can think about it as well. If these thoughts aren't helpful to me, are they really my thoughts? Did I really choose them? Would I really consciously choose thoughts that don't make me feel good? You wouldn't. You absolutely wouldn't. And so where did these thoughts come from? As always, they came from a place in our childhood where we learned through vicarious learning, or through what we heard from our parents or from our respected elders such as teachers or our grandparents, and we adopted their ideas as our own. And this happens because our mind works on an automatic level and creates a subconscious mind which is full of these beliefs that don't really serve us. So now you've got a bunch of beliefs and thoughts that are unhelpful, and you know that they're not yours. You wouldn't consciously choose thoughts that don't serve you. And so what I want to do is, before we move on, explain the ways in which we should not deal with these thoughts. What we often find ourselves doing is trying not to think those negative things. We say to ourselves, if only I could get rid of this thought that I'm not good enough, or that this person is being an arsehole right now, or that I hate them, or why did I marry them? Then I could be happy, then I could live freely. Has anyone ever succeeded in deleting a memory, or even not thinking a thought that they didn't want to think? Well, let's try a little exercise, okay? I want you now to not think of a pink elephant. Okay? Probably you thought of a pink elephant because our mind works automatically. You cannot control those subconscious thoughts that come through. Did you think of a pink elephant? That's 1-0. All of these unhelpful thoughts and feelings, they'll all come from fear. And if we dig deep enough and peel back the layers, we'll either be scared of not being enough, scared of being rejected, scared of not belonging, scared of being incompetent, scared of not being loved. And when we go back to that fear, then we can do something very special. My good friend Rob Bell did a video about this on The Big Think, and he said what we can do with fear is that we can slow down, we can listen to that fear that's behind those negative thoughts and feelings and beliefs, and we can lean in, we can listen to those thoughts, we can pause dramatically, we can slowly smile and say, I know. the fear does not know what to do with that. And so what we do now, shut up you little rats. And when we face our fears and really listen to them without judgment, what happens is that we create space for something new to be. We can choose something that's more empowering. So now I'm going to explain a little bit about NLP and the science of positive affirmations. So with the help of science, we've understood that we actually change the brain structure through positive affirmations and NLP. When we're changing our beliefs, you can think about it as if we're creating a new riverbed for the water to flow down. Through your childhood experiences and growing up, you've created this riverbed that's flowing in a direction that isn't helpful for you. Instead of trying to stop the water and then pile a load of mud and block off that riverbed, what we're trying to do is redirect that river by creating a new riverbed, a new channel for that water to flow. So to find that empowering belief, think of someone who you love, who you respect, who you admire, maybe a hero, maybe someone famous. You could even think about your higher self in this situation. What do they believe about the situation? What empowering thoughts do they have in that moment? And then when we have that belief, when you write that belief down or that thought down, then what you can do is practice creating that riverbed in your mind by visualizing the future, as if that belief has carried you into the future. What does that feel like? Who's around you? What kind of abundance do you have in your life? What's going on? How do you feel? How are you standing? How are you being in your life? And you're feeling it now in that present moment. Something that's really, really important here. We need to pair that thought, that new belief, with a strong emotional association. And that's creating that riverbed. The more you feel it, the more emotion, the more intense that you can generate that, the more strong it's gonna be. And so you're gonna need to practice this for at least a week. So just say, okay, 7 days, I'm gonna do this every morning when I wake up and after I brush my teeth. And you'll notice the effects start to take place in your life. And after those 7 days, you can recalculate and say, can I do another 7 days more? And see where it takes you, explore with it. Play with it, do a little experiment, do some tests and see what the result is. And let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoy these videos that I'm making, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next Wednesday for another edition. Big love.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.